Hey there, Heather Boyd here, and welcome to day 4 of the 10-day Right Brain Art Challenge. So in today's exercise, we're basically going to be tracing our hand under a glass, and we're going to be having it in sort of a three-dimensional position. If you don't have glass, this is a picture frame. You could also just get a little 8 by 10 inch piece of glass and tape around the outside so it's not sharp. This one's just a regular frame. You could use plexiglass, and in the worst case, if you don't have glass, you can just trace your hand, and I'll link up a video below where I did trace my hand and did some decorative drawing. But in this drawing, we're going to do more shading, so we need our drawing pencils, 2B, even HB if that's all you have, just a piece of computer paper or drawing paper, and if you're using the glass, you'll need a washable marker to trace your hand. This is a great exercise to observe how the hand looks when it's three-dimensional, because it's very hard to capture that just by looking at it. It always helps to have sort of like a viewfinder, but this takes it one step further. When you put it under the glass, you can see, very well how it works, but not only that, you can trace it, and then we'll transfer it onto paper to do our shading. One thing you do have to do when you're tracing is you have to close one eye, because if you have both eyes open, there's going to be distortion. But if you just look with one eye, it's going to be easier to focus on the line. So just whatever eye you're comfortable closing, go ahead and do it. And basically, we're just going to take our marker and trace exactly around the hand form. Now, don't worry if you're a little bit off. It's fine if you're a little shaky, because when you go and do the pencil drawing, these initial lines aren't really going to show. It's just to give you sort of a sense of the proportions, the positions, and we're just going to go all the way around. You can add a little bit of the details if you want, but it's not super necessary because it's going to be a little easier to do that when you go in with your pencil. You can just observe again and see how it goes. But if you want to put a couple of, I did a mistake, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to fix it when I trace it. But say there are a few little lines like that you want for reference, you can totally do this. Now, of course, this is getting a little distorted in there because it's pressed up against the pane, but that's okay. But say there are some lines you want to do in there, like my husband actually reads palms, so he'd be super interested, in the lines. But I might not even add those after. It's fine. So now that it's drawn on the glass, we're going to trace it. So if it's daytime, you can hold it up to a window, and if it's nighttime, either hold it up to a screen or a bright light. So we're just going to trace this around. And like I said before, if you don't have glass, you don't have plexiglass, just simply trace your hand. It's totally fine, because part of this exercise is exploring shading as well, which we're going to do once we have the outline done. And it's all about sort of observing and just having fun with it. So we're going to go around here. It could be a little distorted too, if my hands moved when I was tracing, or if my point of view changed. Like even the slightest point of view can change everything, and that's one reason you close one eye, is so you don't have that distortion of looking through both eyes. So there we have our picture, and then this is the one I previously shaded. I did a lot of like little shading. I love to do these little sort of lines. I almost trace the forms. It almost looks like a topographic map or something, and so just play around with shading. If you haven't done it before, you can just experiment. I'm going to alternate between the 2B and the 4B. The 2B is a little lighter, the 4B is softer and a little darker. And then what you can do is just go in and start your shading. So however you want to do it, like just You can go in like that. You can also hold your pencil like this. A lot of artists like to hold their pencil sort of on the side like this. It's also good to look at your hand that you are drawing to get a sense of the shadows and the lines and things. So now you can just go in and play around with it. So when you use the side of the pencil, it does some really nice shading, and you can like go in and do some of the lines. And you can also like push harder and then lift your pencil a bit to go a little softer. If you want, you can tape your paper down so it's a little easier to deal with. It won't be moving around and stuff. So just go ahead and try to like work on a bit of shading. Sometimes it's good to like go around the forms, because we know these forms like stick out a little bit, and we're just going to go in like that, and then you can go in and form your lines. So this is all about observing, you know. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's nice to try to like see where the lines are. And this, you could have actually traced some of these lines to have a better idea of where they're positioned in relation to the fingers. So we're just going to go ahead in there. I should probably keep it in the same position that I was before. Sometimes it'll get a little bit distorted like that, but that's fine. You can just go in and in like that. I generally don't like to use an eraser when doing exercises like this, but if you want to, you can. I did a little mistake there, but it's fine. And then we're going to just go in and play around. And like in the sample I showed you, sometimes I like to just go in, and I could hold it a different way to show you too, is just sometimes I just like to go and almost tracing sort of the muscles, the forms. I do this when I'm figure drawing. It's sort of a distinct style that I've developed when I do my figure drawing, is I just love to do these like rounds and around and around. And that might be because of my working with the wire that I do that. That's possible. So it's I just love to define shapes with lines. It's fun to do. So we're just going to go in here, keep going with it. It's also good to do like alternate the pressure you put on your pencil. So if I push harder, it gets dark, and then you just slowly lift the pressure, and it gives a nice little effect. So push and then lift, push and then lift. I was so into my drawing that my battery died, so I don't know how much of that I caught. But what you can do is, once you have a lot of the shading in there and as much details if you want to go ahead and just improvise, you can do that as well. Depending on how accurate you want it to be. If you want to just have fun with it after you've got like the basic amount, you can go ahead and just add your lines as you like. And if you need more realism and you want to get more of the proper shading, just look at your hand again and see. So yeah, you can just go in do different types of shading. Shading with the side of your pencil is always good. And like I said, varying the pressure you put on your pencil. And you could also like rotate your paper, especially if you don't want to smudge it up, or you can cover it with another paper so you don't smudge it, and just play around with it, have fun. I can't wait to see what you guys create. So this is the one I was working on today. This was the other one I did the other night. So they're a little bit different. This one has more subtleties in it, and the position is a little more exaggerated. I probably had my hand more curved, and I added the sleeve as well. So there's really a lot that you can do. Thanks so much for watching the video. Be sure to check out the playlist of tutorials in the 10-day Right Brain Art Challenge. Check out all the details for the challenge below. Also join the Discord group or the Facebook event page. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more art videos, tutorials, and demos, and we'll see you the next time.